Hello everybody and welcome to Movement and Yoga Online with me, Kat. I hope you're doing really well over these last few weeks. I'm back. I'm going to make a new session for you today, focusing on lungs and also the skin, as it's one of our largest organs that we have, and it connects us to the outside world. It's also connected with our nervous system, so what we can feel on the outside could have an effect on us on the inside and vice versa. So just to start with, I just wanted to show you this huge book, an anatomy book, and show you a picture of the lungs here. It's a very 2D image, but actually our lungs are really voluminous. Here we are, and that's with the heart nestled in the center and slightly left on the left lung. So that's the shape of the lungs, and they sit quite high in the chest. They come up quite high in the rib cage. So that's the shape of them. And in Chinese medicine, the lungs and the skin are very much connected. It's about our border, our boundary within ourselves and what makes us us. So I just wanted to show you, even in a simple pose like Tadasana or our mountain pose, that's a standing pose like this, how much of the skin is absolutely everywhere. It's the whole border of us. It's what makes us us. So I thought to think about this for today. This, even the skin around the back of the head, the ears, back of the shoulder blades, even the belly button, there's skin there too. So let's begin by, we'll come up to standing and have a shake out and brush our skin and nervous system down to get connected with that before we come to sitting. Okay, so I'll just move this here. So take your time to come up to standing. Find a nice place for you to stand. See how you're feeling today. Maybe somewhere feels achy or stiff, or perhaps you feel totally great and gorgeous. So let's just start by just walking the feet into the ground. The arms can just join in and the shoulder girdle can just go for a ride. Letting any breath just coming in, perhaps some yawning if you need to. So we're allowing the feet to go toes to heels. Great. And then allowing the head and the neck to be loose as well as we walk on the spot. Lovely. That's great. And then gently slow that down to come to standing in a parallel. Allow the arms, allow any yawns and breath to come in. It's great. We're allowing any stale air out the bottom of the lungs here. So allow the arms to relax. Lovely. And we're just going to gently soften the knees and allow the pelvis to just drop, allowing gravity to work with us. So it's less effort. And we're just going to do some bounces. So they don't have to be very fast. It's completely up to you. So I'm literally allowing the pelvis to drop to the ground and the knees are soft for the spine and the skin to have like a mini wake up, a mini shake to wake up the system. Allow any breath and yawning in. That's all very good for you. So even the skin on the soles of the feet that are touching the ground and the floor. We want these to be awake and alive as well and open. So just gently bouncing at your own speed with your own natural breath. Really letting the tailbone drop to the ground so we don't hold on to the glutes, the butt muscles. We want to allow those to relax and drop towards the ground, the tailbone dropping. Great. And allowing that to gently ebb away. Lovely. And we're going to start with the feet. So let's just shift our weight into one foot and we're going to shake the foot out. So if you need a chair or a wall or something to hold on to, feel free to. Certainly not a balancing competition. Sometimes I fall over too. So really allowing the bones of the foot to be shaken out, waking up all the skin under the foot, in between the toes, around the ankle, around the lower leg, giving that a shake out, different directions, round the knee, so there's the skin and the nerves around the back and side of the knee, into the upper leg, round the thigh, great, and then into the hip joint, giving that a nice swing or a wiggle, seeing what's good for you, or you can place the heel on the ground like this and shake the leg out to get into the hip. Lovely. Oh, that leg feels much better, much more smooth. So let's shift the weight into the leg we've just worked on, and we'll do the same here, shaking out the foot, really allowing the bones and the skin to be loose, allowing the breath to flow all the way down to your feet, and then shaking out the skin around the ankle, the lower leg, round the knee, all sides of the knee, into the thigh and upper leg, into the hip, so swinging if that feels good, or rocking with the heel on the floor. You can also do that sitting, rocking the heel and the leg out. Great. Oh, that feels a lot freer. Excuse me, but clearly a lot of things need to shift for me today. And it's letting it all go. So again, allowing the bounce back in. And then how is it to just shift your weight from one side to the other, one foot to the other. Great. Gently bouncing, allowing the pelvis to just drop towards the ground, hardly any effort. Allowing the head and the neck and spine to go for the ride, and the arms too. Gently bouncing it out. Great. And then coming back to neutral. So that can be parallel, or if you wish to, you can start to bring the feet a little closer together. Lovely. So they don't have to be touching if that's uncomfortable. It might be that the closer your feet are, there might be a slight pull on the lower back and sacrum. So if you have a lower back and sacrum problem, just keep the feet a little wider apart. But if this is comfortable for you and you're happy with them pretty much touching, you're going to bring the big toe and the ankles together. Great. So let's just gently lift the toes up off the ground and then placing them back down, spreading the toes, seeing if you can allow space in between each toe. And we're going to lift the heels off ever so gently, allowing the tailbone to still drop, so you're not arching and dropping at the front, dropping the heels back down to the ground so you can bounce here a little. I'm keeping my legs long here, so the knees are still soft, they're not locked, but I don't have a soft bend. So allow the toes to come off the floor again. The balls of my feet are still nicely rooted on the ground, and just gently place the toes back down onto the ground, seeing if you can spread them, opening them. I kind of think of like cat paws on the ground, nice and wide. And the same again with the heels, gently lifting the heels, allowing the pelvis to drop at the back towards the ground, and then gently letting the heels drop to the ground. If you few bounces if that's okay on the heels. Lovely. So from here, with this wonderful Tadasana pose that we have, so imagine that there's a spiral coming from the ground, wrapping round the legs and growing upwards and outwards on the skin. So I imagine from the big toe side, it wraps round this way so the ankles stay nice and lifted so that we don't have anything like this going on or like this going on. So we have all the ball of the foot greatly rooted into the ground, the toes are spread, the heel also has some weight in it at the back, and all that skin underneath the feet are nice and open and accessible to the ground. So spiraling all the way up, so it kind of goes forward and out and back. This is what's happening all the way into the waist. Great. Keeping that nice and active as we're standing. And then we're going to just shake the hands out. So as our legs are holding us as we stand here, shaking the hands and the wrists out, allowing the skin around the hands and the wrists that do a lot of work for us. Let's open them out and then into the lower arm. It's kind of like cooked spaghetti. It's great. Into the elbows, the upper arms, into the shoulders. Lovely. Really allowing the arms to do whatever they feel, not really thinking about it much, just opening all of the skin and the nervous system. Great. And then letting that go. Lovely. And then let's just draw a breath in. And as we breathe in, the hands come together into prayer position, allowing the spine to draw up towards the sky so the feet are spiraling and rooting downwards. And there's this lovely spiral action also coming up, all the way up, allowing the spine to grow really tall. The shoulders can just melt down, the ribs at the back, and breathing out. Let's do that once more. Opening the arms, breathing in, hands in prayer position, spiraling all the way up through the spine from the little toes all the way to the top of the head, and breathing out. Let's do one more. Breathing in, drawing the hands into prayer position, everything growing up towards the sky, and the feet are rooting down, everything spreading down to the ground, the skin underneath the feet, the tailbones nice and drop towards the ground as well. And breathing out. Lovely. Let's shake that out. Great. So from here, if we come to sitting, so you can sit on a chair or you can sit on the floor with some blocks and bolsters, however you feel comfortable. I'm going to talk you through this short exercise to open up the lungs. Really great for the morning if you're feeling a little sleepy and you can't quite wake up. This one's brilliant to do, and you can do it on repetitions of 3s. So you can do 3, 6, 9, 12. My maths fail me, but I'm sure you know more multiples of 3 than I do. So you can do it as many times as you like. I wouldn't exceed, what would it be, 36? I think that's a good limit, but that's quite strong already. So we're going to stick to 9 today. And you can also do this practice first thing in the morning when you wake up, and you can sit in bed doing this exercise to open the chest and allow the lungs to fill with fresh oxygen for you to start your day, and it will help connect with the skin and the border of you. So I'll move the camera a second. And I'm going to come to sitting. For me today, I'm going to take a bolster and I'm going to allow it to come underneath my knees like this. I'm going to get really comfortable. That's great. So if you need to, you can sit cross-legged, or if it's comfortable, you can sit with your legs long. Perhaps you need like a bolster underneath. But today I feel like my knees can be soft. You can also do this with your legs crossed, or you can do it sitting on a chair as well. So do what feels comfortable for you. And I do have to say this exercise does bring a lot of air and oxygen to the lungs, and it helps get out the kind of stale air at the bottom of the lungs. So a lot of yawning, and sometimes your eyes can be a bit watery, but it's just things clearing. So don't worry if that's happening. It's totally fine, and I'll probably yawn a lot whilst demonstrating as well. So we're going to do multiples of 9 for each one, always moving on an in and out breath. So the first one movement is we bring the arms up to the top into prayer position and then back down again. So this is how we're going to begin. So it's breathing in. And you can look up to the hands, breathing out. So that's 1. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Allow your air, the old stale air, to be gently squeezed out. 4. And I'm rooting my pelvis into the ground or the chair, wherever you are. 5. 6. You can keep looking forward if that's easier. 7. 8. Last one on this one. 9. Lovely. So that's the first movement. The second one is that we're going to cross the arms over each other. And as we breathe in, we're going to lift them up. So I'm kind of heading towards looking through my arms like this. If that's tight on your shoulders, just bring up the arms to wherever's like good for you. If here is enough, that's absolutely fine. And then back down on an out breath. So this is opening up the space around the back of the ribs and the lungs. So we're going to do this one 9 times, then I'm going to swap over and do this one 9 times. So breathing in and out. Number 2. Number 3, breathing in, allowing all that lovely fresh air into the lungs. A lot of yawning from me today. Great. I think that's number 6. 7. 8. 9. Lovely. And then swapping over. Same thing again. Breathing in. Only going as high as is comfortable for the shoulders. 2. 3. 4. And just enjoying it. Enjoying the ribs opening. 6. 7. 8. 9. Lovely. So now my eyes are beginning to water and it feels like something's really clearing in my sinuses and in the chest area and in my lungs. So the last repetition we're going to do in 9 is, so we want to be able to make sure we can rest our hands back behind us. without dipping into the shoulders. You want to keep that nice and broad. So if you're on a chair, you want to kind of shuffle your pelvis forward. So even if the hands are just slightly behind you, you can still open the chest up at the front here and connecting the lower ribs as well to this one. So we're gonna breathe in, leaning back and opening, gently looking up towards the sky, but without collapsing in the neck and the shoulders, and breathing out. Breathing in, opening the front, breathing out. That's 2. Breathing in. If you want, you can keep your hands here and just come up to sitting again. That's 4, 5, 6. There we are. Breathing in, 7, 8. Last one. 9. And coming back to sitting. And then just to close, we're going to scoop the arms up. Breathing in and then drawing the hands down in prayer position. Allowing everything to settle in the center, gently rocking from side to side. Allowing any yawns or the eyes or sinuses to run. That's totally fine. They're clearing. It clears the sinuses, opens the lungs, giving your lungs some fresh air and some true ki, so we don't have to process this air ki or chi. Lovely. And allowing the arms to relax. Great. So we're just going to come to all fours if that's comfortable for you. If you need a cushion or a bolster, feel free to use that in our all fours. So take your time to get into all fours. You can also do this with a chair. So I'll just demonstrate the chair for those who will need it, or the edge of a bed, whatever's good for you. So we will be doing cat-cow in all fours. So if you're going to use a chair, make sure you're a good distance away, but not too close or too far away. We want to make sure our feet are nice and spread on the ground like we did to start with. And we're going to soften the knees, soften in the front of the pelvis and allow the hands to drop onto the chair. We want to make sure that the spine's nice and long. So if we're too far away, we can kind of strain a bit in the shoulders. And if we're too close, the pelvis and the glutes start to grip. So you want to be a nice distance away so the spine can hang between the shoulders and the pelvis. And you can choose whether you breathe in as the head and tail drop, keeping the knees bent, and then breathing out as we look forward and keeping the front of the shoulder girdle and the ribs open, or perhaps the other way around. So it's breathing out and breathing in. And we can go at whatever rhythm and pace feels good for you. Perhaps slower is better today, or perhaps you really want to have a good wiggle and faster rhythm to get the spine and all of the skin around you moving and open. So that's for and then to come out of that, we want to put the weight back in the feet, soften the knees and arm curl, come up to standing for the next part. So if you're on the chair, you've got that movement there. If you're on the floor, you want to make sure that the feet are nice and relaxed on the floor. The knees are soft. If you need a cushion underneath the knees, go for it. And the same with the wrists as well. But the same thing here. We want to make sure that we're not too far away. We want to make sure that the hands are directly underneath the shoulders. And the same with the knees, that they're not too far away. Let's strain on the shoulders and not too close because that's going to grip the lower part of the spine and the glutes. So the knees are underneath the pelvis and the hands are underneath the shoulders. And the same thing, we can play here with breathing in and out on whichever movement feels right for you. So we're going to breathe. I'm going to breathe out here. And then breathing in. The diaphragm draws down as you breathe in and up as you breathe out. So it's drawing downwards as I breathe in. And breathing out, it folds up, squeezing all the air out. We're opening the skin on the back of the body and the front of the body, including the back of the head, the back of the legs, the palms, the soles of the feet, the face. Let's not forget our faces that we see all the time. Breathing in and out. So perhaps you're going in a different direction than me with the breath, and that's absolutely fine. Doing what feels good for you and allowing the breath to come through the spine. If you need to add some wiggles from side to side, if somewhere feels a bit stiff, feel free to do that as well. This is your practice and you can do what feels good for you. If something feels a bit tight or restrained. Anytime you need to sit back and shake out your wrists, feel free to, or take a moment to pause. Really allowing the head and the neck to release. Lovely, making this your last one. And then if it's comfortable too, if you can draw back into child's position. So it's drawing the pelvis, the sitting bones back towards the heels. And you can allow the arms out long if that's comfortable, with the forehead on the ground. And just allowing the back surface to relax and open gently to gravity, and the front of your body can just gently fold, soften, kind of surrendering to the ground. If this is uncomfortable for you, we can take a bolster, and the same thing here. So you can soften back. If you can't quite sit on your heels, just go as far as is comfortable. And if you need to, you can put lots of cushions underneath the chest and allow the arms out long and the head and neck to release. So I've got the bolster across the top of the chest and allowing the pelvis to gently draw back to the heels, but the cushion's got my weight. Taking the weight and allowing the head to relax so the back of the body can open. It's great. If this is still a little uncomfortable, you can come up to the bolster and you can just gently, you want to make sure a little bit further away, gently draw back the pelvis towards the heels. And if you can drop to your elbows. And the same thing, it's just allowing the front of the body to fold and the back to open. Only stay here as long as is comfortable. Now, if you're on this chair, so bear with me everybody who's on the floor, you can come out of this movement, this stretch, the child's pose, if you've had enough. So people who have been on the chair and working with standing. So what we can do here is we can open the feet up to be a lot wider, soften the knees. We want to make sure that the chair is a good distance away for us. And we can drop down onto our forearms and just softening in the knees and the pelvis And if it feels comfortable, just imagine that there's a string drawing back with the sitting bones. Obviously, make sure that you don't pull too hard on the chair. We want to make sure our feet are nice and grounded. But it's the same thing here. The front of the body softens and the back of the skin and the body can really open up. If this is still too much, we can turn the chair around. Don't have to go so low, okay? And then what we want to do is come a little bit further away from the chair, keeping the legs nice and wide. The feet are spread in the ground. Just going to gently soften the knees and the pelvis, and imagining so we're making sure we're not tucked. We're imagining the tailbone going straight down behind us, and that's as far as we need to go. That's great, and keeping the arms nice and long. So we're still softening in the front of the body and opening the back of the body out. Lovely. And then to undo that, softening the knees and and then walk the feet back in. Great. So from the child's position, if everybody's still here, taking natural breaths, nothing much to do apart from really surrender to the ground. Choosing which option's best for you. You know, some days I don't even get here. Some days a bolster's perfect. Or a chair. Choosing what's good for you. So from here, if it's possible, we're going to come up to all fours again, if that's good for you. We're just going to gently tuck the toes under. And we're going to allow the pelvis on an out breath to float up towards the sky, imagining there's a balloon floating up and it's tied around your pelvis. So only do this if this is comfortable on your shoulders and your back. I'm going to breathe in. And then on the out breath, allow the pelvis to just float up, allowing the back surface of you to open. And we're going to see if we can walk the feet into the ground, opening the skin underneath the sole of the foot. The head and the neck are loose as well. The hands are spread in the ground, and we're allowing the back of the body to open up. And then you can take some rocks with the feet, the heels, lifting the toes, softening in the knees, allowing the back to open. And then coming back down, allowing the knees to drop back to all fours. So, if you're happy with this, I'm keeping the space in the front of the chest. That's great. So you can do this a few times, floating up into downward dog and coming back down gently onto the knees. You can also do it with the bolster or a step if that's easier. So breathing out, floating the pelvis up. So you can also be a bit closer if that's easier. You can soften the knees if it's too much on the back of the legs, because this one's about helping the back and the spine to open. It's not necessarily a stretch for the legs. So we are opening the lower back and the spine. You can use the feet into the ground, allowing the head and neck to release. And then we can float the knees back down again. Great. So that's for people who are comfortable on the bolster. I'll now just demonstrate that on the chair. So if you're still working from all fours to downward dog, just playing with this, see how it feels with your breath, breathing in and out, but always breathing out and letting the pelvis float up towards the ceiling. So if you have a chair, we're going to have our feet in a wide-ish parallel. Let me turn this way a little bit so you can see. Wide-ish parallel. I'm going to soften the knees. Lovely. And I'm going to draw the tail back. So we're in our all fours kind of place. The spine's nice and long and the weight's going from the shoulders straight down into my arms. And from here, to get our downward dog sensation, I'm just going to step the feet back. Great. And allow the sitting bones to open up to the other side of the room if you're indoors. And we're just going to walk the feet from kind of pouring our weight through the feet, allowing the spine to be nice and long, and making sure that we're not collapsed into the neck. It's a bit harder on the chair. So anytime you want to walk back in, that's great. Softening the knees again. Perhaps you want to come back up to standing to relax the shoulders and arms. So you can do this a couple of times. Coming to the all fours, stepping the feet out, padding the feet into the ground, shoulders nice and wide. Great, and the back of your skin and body still opening up, even though we don't have our hands on the ground. Still doing the same thing, walking back in, softening the knees and uncurling to come back up to standing. Great. That's lovely. So wherever you're at with that, if you're sitting, you can come back to sitting. And if you've been on the floor in downward dog, if you want to take a moment more there, you can. Coming back down to all fours. If you want to do the child's pose again, please feel free to. So the same if you're using a bolster or the chair. Chair people, you have your feet wider and you can soften the knees and into the pelvis a little bit more. Allowing everything to relax. Great. And then what we're going to do from here is come to lying on our back. So take your time here. And I should have mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to use a strap, or I've got actually an old dressing gown tie, or you can use a tie or a belt. So if you need to pause me now to go and find that, feel free to. I'm just going to get mine from over here. So if you need something a bit longer, you can not tie them together to make it nice and long. So taking your time to get down onto the ground. Lovely. Allowing the spine to relax. And we'll just take a moment here before we use our strap on the legs. Great. Perhaps you want your feet flat on the ground. Lovely. And you can just lift the pelvis up a few times, making sure you're really comfortable in the lower spine and the sacrum. And really opening the shoulders at the back. We've opened the back of the body up a lot. Now we can allow the front of the body to open a little bit more. And just taking the head from side to side, allowing the back of the head and the face to relax. Gently opening the throat at the front without straining anything. Great, and then allowing the head to come back to the center. And just taking a couple of breaths here. So, if you have your strap and you're comfortable on the floor, we're going to place this strap underneath the foot. So I'm going to take my right foot and place it in the middle of the foot there. Okay. And I'm just going to gently roll up the strap around my hands. Perhaps basically when we lengthen the leg, we want to be able to allow the shoulders to be relaxed on the floor, so I'm not straining like this, and want to keep the head and the neck still on, well, my neck's not on the ground, but the head is, so there's a bit of space underneath the neck here. Perhaps you've got a pillow to, if your head doesn't quite make it to the ground, you can put a cushion or a pillow underneath. But basically, you want to keep the shoulder blades on the ground as the leg is long. So the arms can be long and lengthened, or if the elbows are soft, that's also okay. So that's where we want to feel comfortable with the strap. So making the adjustments with the foot. So what we're going to do first is we're going to breathe in, and we're going to gently bring the foot towards you. So the knees gently coming to the chest. And as we breathe out, we're going to press the foot away, lengthening the leg so my shoulder blades are still on the ground. Breathing in, drawing the foot towards you. Breathing out, lengthening the foot away. Breathing in, breathing out, lengthening the foot away. Once more, breathing in here. Breathing out, lengthening the foot away. Lovely. Anytime you need to rest, place your foot back on the floor, and you can take a moment here. So from here, if you're happy to, from the foot being long and the leg being long away from you, if that's too much strain on the lower leg, keep the leg on the back of the leg, keep the leg still bent, keep the knee still bent. We don't have to get a straight leg. Okay, so keeping the leg, but it's just this action of bending and softening the leg and lengthening it out with the sole of the foot nice and active. You can wiggle the toes as you do this movement if that helps. Okay, so from here, if this is comfortable, you're just going to gently change the angle of the foot. So rather than the heel down towards the pelvis, just going to gently bring that up so it's more of a kind of 90-degree bend on the knee. So same thing again, breathing in, drawing the knee in, and as we breathe out, I'm going to press the foot away so it's more towards the sky. Same thing again, you don't have to lengthen the leg completely if that's too much on the back of the leg. But if it feels good and it's okay for you, lengthening the leg, breathing in, lengthening the leg away. So it's as though the pelvis can drop into the ground for the leg to float up towards the sky. You can absolutely keep the leg soft. You don't have to go so high. You can keep the angle a bit lower. Do whatever's right for you. Couple more of these. Breathing in, breathing out. And releasing the foot to the ground. Lovely. So I'll just demonstrate a couple of times at each angle for the left foot, and I'll explain that for anyone who wants to do this practice on the chair or the edge of a bed, wherever you can sit comfortably. So to start with, we're going to allow the heel to drop a little and breathing in. And as we breathe out, the leg can lengthen away. You can keep the knee soft, or you can straighten the leg, lengthening it away from you. Breathing in and breathing out. You can do this a couple of times on each side. Next time, if it's comfortable for you and you wish to, you can adjust where the leg is, the heel is, and then we're going to push away, lengthening the leg up towards the sky if that's comfortable for you. You can keep the knee soft if that's easier on the back of the leg. We're just opening up the skin underneath the sole of the foot and connecting it all the way to the pelvis at the back. Breathing in and out. At whatever angle's right for you. And anytime you want to relax and rest, come back to resting supine. So that's the 2 feet on the ground and the knees up towards the sky. Lovely. So play around with that. I'll just demonstrate for anyone who's on the chair. So we want to be sitting on the chair. Okay, lovely. So coming to sitting, and I'm on the edge of the chair, so I'm not leaning back on the chair. That's great. Same thing here. So I'm going to allow the strap to go underneath the sole of my foot. And the same thing, we don't want to curl forward and strain on the shoulders. The strap, we want just the right length for our spine to still grow upwards and the shoulders to soften. So as we breathe in, you can lift the foot up and breathe out, pressing the foot away. It can be to the ground. You can let the heel drop to the ground. Breathing in, and the knee doesn't have to lift like mega high. It can just come to here and to the ground. Breathing in, breathing out. So the legs doing the work, the arms are just supporting the foot and helping that connection between the pelvis and the foot. Lovely. Breathing in, breathing out. Same thing. If you feel comfortable to and it feels right for you, you can then bring the knee a little higher and press out on a higher angle with the leg. Okay? Keeping the shoulders and the chest open at the front. So choose it in the angle that's right for you. Maybe it's just here. Lovely. And then releasing that. And we'll do the same on the other side. So if you're on the floor and you've done this a couple of times, you can come to resting. If we're sitting, we want to make sure that the other foot's nice and spread in the ground. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and breathing out. Doing this a few times more. And changing the angle if that's comfortable for you. You can keep the leg soft. You don't have to fully extend it. Keeping the knee soft. Whatever angle feels right for you. But keeping the spine nice and long and the shoulders are relaxed, so the elbows and the legs really doing more of the work. Lovely. And letting that go. Great. And undoing the strap. So that's helping activate the back of the legs from the foot all the way to the back of the pelvis here. Lovely. So if you're on the floor or you're on the chair, we're going to come up to standing now. So taking your time to come up to standing. Just move this so you can see a little better. Okay. Great. So from here, because we've opened up the skin and the breath and the chest and all the lungs, thought we could do a really nice flowing, free-flowing, soft, simple sun salutation. I will add a few more things in. So if you're feeling like you can do a little bit within your body, feel free to do that as well. I'll just demonstrate the first one, and I'll also show it with the chair. If it's uncomfortable to get to the ground, it's absolutely not a problem at all. So I'll just show first. Great. So I'm going to kind of stand here so you can see a little bit from the side as well. So I'm going to stand in parallel. We want to keep the feet spread in the ground and the pelvis dropped. The legs are nice and long, that lovely spiral that we had at the beginning. Pelvis is dropping, so we're not arching or tucking too much. And the spine can grow nicely all the way up to the sky, and the shoulders can relax. Great. So to begin, we're going to breathe in, and the arms are going to open out like wings to the side. And breathing out. Do that one again, breathing in. And as we breathe out, we're just going to soften the knees, and the head just gently softens forward. Third time, we're going to breathe in, the legs lengthen, and the hands come up just above the head, so they're just in parallel. Wherever that's comfortable, perhaps the hands are here. And then on an out breath, we're going to soften forward, softening the knees and the pelvis to come to Uttanasana. That's an upside down dangle. You can keep the knees soft if that's good for you. And in the next in-breath, we're going to ripple through the spine and breathe out. Breathing in, we're going to open the right side up. And breathing out. This time, we're going to press into the left foot. And then, we'll come back up to standing. So soften the knees, opening the hands to the side, breathing out. Once more, easy. Just the arms. So we'll do that right and left side a couple of times. Sorry, I was going to step back into a warrior one, which we're going to do in a moment. So do what you need to. If at all you need a chair, I'll just demonstrate that. Same thing, we know what distance we need. So we're going to breathe in and out. We're going to breathe in. The next out breath, we soften the knees and the head and shoulders forward. Breathing in, hands float all the way up. We're imagining our skins opening and softening, and then folding forward onto the chair. And then on the next in-breath, we're going to ripple through the spine and breathing out. And then we press more into the left hand as that right hand opens up to the side. Breathing in, breathing out. Next, out breath, we're going to press more weight into the feet, arm curl. And then a plain arms out, kind of like wings. Lovely. So we're going to do that left and right. Chair or floor, whatever's good for you. There's no right or wrong. So this time I'll demonstrate the left side. So we're going to breathe in and out. Breathing in. And you can take your time, there's no rush. Breathing out, softening forward. Breathing in. This time the hands floating all the way up to the top. And breathing out. And they don't have to be strong inhales and exhalations. Certainly don't want to be dizzy. Breathing in, rippling through the spine. Breathing in, so I'm going to open up the left side. Even if it's tiny opening, that's wonderful. And then on the next out breath, arm curling. Arms open to the side, like wings. And then one more to neutral the sides. So let's do right and left, gently. Taking your time with your breath. If you get dizzy, take a moment. You can come up to standing or sit. It's absolutely fine to take a breather, and you can go on your own breath. But just imagining every surface area of your skin opening gently. Allowing this lovely, fresh oxygen and air into your body. Breathing in, breathing out and softening forward. Breathing in, rippling through the spine. Breathing into the right side. Breathing out, arm curling. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's do the left side once more. Breathing in. Second time, we want to let the head soften and the knees soften forward. Hands floating all the way up. And we're going to soften everything forward. Lovely. Rippling through the spine on an in-breath. Breathing in and out. Softening again. Come back up to standing. Arms like wings. One more to neutralize. Lovely. And releasing the legs if you need to. So if you're happy to do this version, that's wonderful. You can use the chair as a prop. Anytime you need to take a break, perhaps one round on each side is enough for today, or perhaps you want to do 2 or 3. I'm just going to demonstrate an add-on for the legs where we come out into Warrior One and we open up the chest and the shoulders. So if this feels too much on the lower spine, you can take a smaller stance. If it still feels uncomfortable, stick with the first one where we just keep the legs nice and soft and in parallel neutral. So just going to add on a little bit more. So I'll demonstrate the right side gently and then I'll show it on the left side a bit smoother. So same beginning, breathing in. It's like opening our wings like a bird. Breathing in. As we breathe out, the knees and the head soften forward. Breathing in. The arms float up to the sky. Breathing out, folding forward. Really nicely folding forward. Breathing in, rippling through the spine. Breathing out. Keeping the knees soft if that's comfortable, or using the chair if you need to, or a bolster. Breathing in, opening to the right side, breathing out. Now here, we're going to press the weight into the left foot. We're going to step the right foot back and the toes are gently opening. So they're not in parallel. I'm going to make the toes open to the side. I'm going to push really nice and strongly in the left foot. So breathe out and come up to standing. Take an in-breath here. And as we breathe out, lengthen the leg and the arms. So adjust the stance to what feels good for you. Perhaps this is too wide, or perhaps you want to go wider. So breathing in, sinking that knee forward and the arms float up. Breathing out, everything lengthens. Breathing in, lovely. Breathing out. Now on this last one, as we breathe in, if you wish to, you can open the arms up sideways and allow the chest to look up towards the sky. You want to make sure that we're not collapsing too much in the lower back. Breathing out and in. And then we're going to step onto our left foot. The hands come up and down, and then a neutral one with the arms. Lovely. I'll turn around and demonstrate the left side. And then you can do exactly what you need to, whether that's the first version or the second one, or you can repeat and go do 2 of the first version without the Warrior One, and then 2 with the Warrior One, and then back again. Whatever's right for you. So we're going to breathe in, neutral, opening those wings, breathing in, breathing out, softening the knees and the head forward. Breathing in, arms float all the way up to the sky. Breathing out, folding forward, perhaps to a bolster or a chair. Breathing in, gently rippling through the spine. Breathing in, opening the left side up.
Lovely. Now I'm going to press the weight into my right foot and step the left foot back. I'm opening up the toes, so I'm not in parallel anymore. Lovely. Breathing in, breathing out, press the weight into the foot. Great. Breathing in, breathing out. Want to breathe in here. Breathing out, lengthen. Breathing in, everything floats forward. Breathing out, lengthening. Breathing in, breathing out. Once more, breathing in and lifting the chest a little to the sky. The arms can open sideways. Breathing out. I'm doing that. This time I'm going to step forward onto the right. Opening the arms sideways. And then once more to neutral. Lovely. And then we're just going to shift. Great. So just allowing the breath to come into your body again. So we're just going to come back to a Tadasana, if that's comfortable for you, allowing the feet to come closer. And we're just going to lift the toes off the floor. Great. And pressing them back down, allowing them to rest on the ground. The same thing as we did at the start, lifting the heels and letting them settle back down onto the ground. Same thing again, toes. This is uncomfortable on your lower back or glutes if they're gripping. Allow the feet to be a bit wider. Just allowing the breath to settle, the skin to open. So with fresh air and a relaxed skin and border, we'll have a healthy nervous system and a very healthy immune system. And then making this the last one, we just want to settle in the center of our feet, wherever's comfortable, wherever the pelvis is. Allow the arms to come by the side, and we're going to breathe in. Arms open up, and then allowing the hands to meet at the top in prayer position. And as we breathe out, drawing them down so the spine grows taller. Let's do that twice more. So breathing in. Breathing out, drawing the palms down into prayer position. Breathing in. Spine's nice and long, pelvis is dropping towards the ground. Legs are spiraling. Lovely. And releasing that. So from here, we're going to come into our relaxation time. So we're going to come to Shavasana, lying on our backs, whether that be on the floor or a bed, or if you wish to come to sitting on a chair, you can as well. So as you're lying here, just taking your time to relax. Perhaps you want a bolster under your knees. So really making sure you're comfortable. Perhaps you want a blanket on you if you're feeling a little nippy. I'm just going to read to you about the skin. So you just letting these words waft over you. There's no need to hold on to anything, but just allowing yourself to settle into the ground or a bed if that's easier, or sitting on the chair. And you can close your eyes if that feels right as well. The listening skin. The moment we close our eyes, we wake up through the skin, surfacing into a world of proximities, in which everything around us seems to touch and speak to us, a world in which empty space no longer exists. Around us seems to touch and speak to us. In a world that no longer exists. A world transformed into a dense and shimmering pattern of textures, vibrations, sounds, and scents. With your eyes closed, perhaps you can feel the ground. Perhaps you can sense the walls or doorways, or light and shadow. Your skin touching the air, clothing, or objects, and they all seem to come to life. These presences, other than ourselves, are mostly hidden to us, yet appear as we become still and listen, and we awaken to the touch of the living world on our skin. So whether you're outside, perhaps you can get to a park, and perhaps lying down in the grass and closing your eyes and just allowing your senses to open a little and your skin to open, what you can sense, or perhaps even indoors. You don't have to go out. Just lying on the ground, perhaps just before an afternoon nap, just taking a moment to sense how you feel inside and what's going on just around you. Don't have to go far away from you, but just close around you. What does it feel like? So the skin is the largest, oldest, and most sensitive of our organs. The ectoderm from which brain, nervous system, and all our senses develop. It forms an outer surface for the developing embryo, and this is vital. The connection between skin and nervous system, it continues throughout our lives. The skin plays a crucial role in keeping us informed of what is going on outside. It is the eyes and the ears of the whole body, moment by moment informing us of touch, pressure, pain, vibration, and sound. Awake also to the intangible and invisible movement of all that is around us. I'll just read this last little bit. So, in infancy, when we're children, a lack of the sensory stimulus of touch can cause a wasting in the tissue, similar to that of malnutrition, and an empathy from which a child may perhaps even die. So basically, touch is very important to humans. Without stimulation of the skin, we lose an essential and present sense of connection, both to ourselves and what is around us. Where other senses fail, the sensitivity of the skin deepens, keeping us in touch with the world in which we live and belong. So as you lie here, if you've drifted off, that's not a problem at all. And I guess with this strange current climate that we're in with the COVID pandemic, it's become very peculiar to not receive touch, and we have this social distancing. I personally much prefer the use or term physical distancing, because we can still socialize with a bit of distance between people. So, because touch is so important to humans, and it's very important that we receive some, whether that be from someone else or not, particularly these days, that can be quite tricky. So, as we're lying here, actually I'm going to use a bolster. As we're lying here in our rest, in our supine position, I'm going to allow my legs to relax, allowing the spine to still be soft and open and uncurled. So if you feel comfortable to, I'm just going to demonstrate a few things we can do to give reassuring touch to ourselves and connect with our skin and outer surface ourselves. So if it's not possible, these days to be in contact with anybody else. But this is really important if you feel comfortable to allow the hands to rest upon yourself. So we'll start, so if your hands are nice and clean, rubbing the hands together to create some chi and energy. And to begin, we're just going to place the palm of the hands over the eyes. So we want to make sure that the shoulders are really dropping into the ground and the elbows can kind of float towards the sky. My eyes are closed and soft, and it's just helping, the heat of my hands is just helping the front of my face to relax and soften. You can have a natural breath here. There's nothing really much to do apart from help the front of your face, the skin and the nervous system to relax. So if you've been on the screen a lot, on the computer or watching a lot of TV, this is so good to help tonify and cleanse your eyeballs as well. So we're not pressing really hard, we're just allowing the weight of the hands to drop over the eyes. Lovely. And then gently, really slowly, allowing the hands to come away. I still have my eyes closed. And then I'm going to place my hands on the very top of my chest, the upper ribs near the collarbone. Elbows can drop to the ground so the shoulders can rest as well. And just allow the weight of the hands on the top of the chest here. You can keep your eyes closed. And just allowing the weight of your hands to give a little pressure to the upper chest. Lovely. So I'm keeping my eyes closed. I'm just going to cross my arms over the chest and let them hang. And I'm going to catch my shoulders with my hands. It's kind of giving myself a little hug. You can stay here as long as feels comfortable for you. So whichever way your arms are crossed, we can do that the other way, so the other arm's on the top. And really allowing the palms to gather your surface and skin, your outer border. Keeping the eyes closed if that's comfortable. And just sensing actually sometimes how lovely it is to just hold oneself. And then on doing that, allowing the elbows to drop to the floor again, or the bed, wherever you are lying, and placing the hands on the lower ribs, where the diaphragm meets the ribs. Lovely. And then from here, if it's comfortable, gathering the legs. So if you can catch the knees with your hands. If not, you can just place your feet on a bolster. If that's comfortable, you can place your hands on your thighs. So it's just sensing the legs, the knee area or thighs with your hands. Rearranging the pelvis if you need to. Getting that touch from the surface beneath your back. And then releasing the legs again. Great. And then placing your hands on belly area. I'm going to place left and then right hand over the top. And just breathing naturally, allowing the breath to come in and out, not pressing into the belly. We're just receiving touch for ourselves. And then when you're ready, just releasing the hands back to the ground, either side of your body. And taking your time to relax here in Shavasana. And very, very gently coming back to your breath, perhaps wiggling the toes and fingers, gently opening the eyes. Great. And we'll come to sitting. No rush at all. Taking your time. Perhaps you want to come to the side and rest here a moment. No rush at all. Allowing the breath in and yawning if need to. Taking your time to come up to sitting. So you can sit on a chair or cross-legged or on a bolster. Just allowing the breath to settle. I hope you feel calmer and smoother in your body and that your outer surfaces can relax so the nervous system can settle and the breath can move freely from the inside where your lungs are to all the outer surfaces of your body. So just to finish, we're going to bring the hands up and into prayer position. I'll say thank you very much and namaste. I hope you've had a lovely session with me. So you can continue this practice if you wish to, taking each movement with whatever feels right for you. And I'll see you